What if I told you that fighter jets from a country the size of New Jersey are flying thousands of miles across multiple countries, getting refueled in midair multiple times just to drop bombs deep inside Iran? And that the United States later joined with its own stealth bombers. This is the story of the American and Israeli air campaign over Iran, how it started, why it escalated, and the wild details most people never hear about. For decades, Israel and Iran fought a shadow war. Israel used cyber attacks, assassinations, and occasional airstrikes in Syria. Iran hit back through proxies. Everything changed in 2024. On April 1st, 2024, Israel conducted an airstrike on an Iranian consulate building in Damascus, Syria, using F-35I Adir stealth fighters. The strike killed several senior Revolutionary Guard commanders. Iran vowed revenge. On April 13th, Iran launched its first direct attack on Israel. A massive barrage of around 170 drones and 30 cruise missiles, and more than 120 ballistic missiles. Most were intercepted by Israeli and Allied defenses. Some were not. Then, on October 26, 2024, Israel launched Operation Days of Repentance, its first major airstrike inside Iran. Over 100 Israeli aircraft took part. F-35I Adir stealth fighters went in first to suppress and destroy key air defense radar and S-300 systems. Once the defenses were weakened, F-15I Ram strike fighters and F-16I Sufa jets delivered the main blows, hitting missile and drone production sites near Tehran. The strikes were limited and precise. Tensions kept rising. In June 2025, Israel launched a much larger wave of airstrikes called Operation Rising Lion, part of the 12-day war. Again, using the same proven tactic, the F-35I Adir stealth jets leading the way to knock out air defenses, followed by heavier payloads from the F-15I Ram and F-16I Sufa fighters. With over 200 aircraft involved in the opening waves, they struck military, missile, and nuclear-related targets deep in Iran. This is where the crazy facts really stand out. Israeli jets flew at the extreme edge of their range. They required multiple mid-air refuelings just to reach Iran and return. In one phase of the campaign, Israeli tanker crews performed over 550 aerial refuelings, transferring millions of pounds of fuel. Without this complex aerial ballet, the missions would have been impossible. The Israeli Air Force proved it could penetrate Iran's defenses. F-35s opened holes in the air defense network, allowing follow-on strikes. One notable hit destroyed specialized planetary mixers used to produce solid rocket fuel for ballistic missiles. Iran managed to repair the facility and resume production within months, but the repeated strikes still created major production bottlenecks. On June 21st to 22nd, 2025, the United States joined the campaign with direct airstrikes of its own. This time, American B-2 Spirit stealth bombers flew some of the longest combat missions in history. Round trips of up to 37 hours from bases in Missouri to strike deeply buried Iranian nuclear facilities at Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow. These bombers dropped massive GBU-57 bunker-busting bombs capable of reaching underground targets that normal aircraft cannot touch. Additional strikes came from Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from a submarine. The American strikes focused on crippling Iran's nuclear program after years of Iranian proxy attacks and rapid nuclear advances. Both Israel and the U.S. have mostly kept the campaign focused on military and nuclear targets. so far avoiding broader strikes on oil infrastructure or leadership in an effort to limit a full-scale regional war, at least in that phase. The scale is astonishing. Long-range missions with F-35s suppressing defenses first, followed by F-15s and F-16s delivering heavy payloads, plus B-2 stealth bombers operating far from home, all delivering precision strikes against one of the most heavily defended countries on Earth. The timeline is still unfolding. What began with F-35 strikes in Damascus has grown into sustained American and Israeli air operations deep inside Iran. These campaigns show both the incredible reach of modern air power and the enormous risks involved. The real question now is whether these airstrikes will achieve their goals or pull the entire region into something much bigger. Many point to the collapse of the earlier Obama-era nuclear deal, which Trump withdrew from in 2018, as one factor that allowed Iran's program to accelerate dramatically in the years that followed. This has been a summary of the 2024 and 2025 air campaign over Iran. In my next video, I will provide an update on the developments in 2026, including an extended air campaign in Iran, regime change, targeted leadership strikes, and ground troops in Iran.